Hello, everybody.
And welcome back to another episode of Mondays Are For The Nerds. I'm your co-host, Jay Wright.
And I'm your other co-host, Tristan Stump.
And we thank you for joining us as we recap this week's and last week's pop culture news. Special episode, as you'll see later.
For multiple reasons.
It's our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Was Tuesday.
Well, yeah, as of the Tuesday...
The 20th.
The 20th was our 1 year anniversary.
I had to go back on YouTube and look, see when the first one is uploaded because I'm like...
Of doing the podcast. And so...
We've been going on for a full year.
Yeah.
Thank you for those of us who are, or those of you who are constant listeners who have been with us since day one. Thank you. And anybody who's dropping in here and out, thank you for that.
Yeah. And those of you who subscribe to us for our Let's Plays.
Exactly.
Thank you for being patient.
Bearing with us.
Yeah. Because if you recall, I think in the last episode I said, oh yeah, I think I have
time.
things here. And then I went and so I got my wisdom teeth cut out.
Yeah.
And
that's why we didn't have an episode last week.
And there were complications. And so that led that made my recovery time where I thought I was going to be able to be at my computer. I was not on my computer because I was in too much pain.
Yep.
And so yeah, this is the first day I think I'm talking without a lisp.
And I couldn't tell. So
because before I was like talking back here and my cheeks couldn't move much, so I was like talking like this. And it was
trying to keep your mouth shut as much as you could.
Yes, and even then I couldn't keep my mouth shut because the swelling was so because my teeth wouldn't. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a time. So it's also a very special episode because I can talk. Yes,
our co-host is back.
Hard to believe it's been 1 year, which means it's been a year and 2 months since I was like, hey, you want to try this?
Exactly, because we got this real quick.
Remember when I don't know if we've ever talked about the origins of the podcast.
No.
When we I think when we first met in high school, would have been my sophomore year, your freshman year. And we hit it off and we were talking about movies and we're like, maybe we should do a podcast about this.
Yeah. Is it going to be called Trailer Park?
Yeah, Trailer Park.
And we're basically we watch trailers.
At that point, neither of us had enough varied interests that it was like, okay, we'll just talk about trailers. It'll be like a 30-minute podcast, if even. And then years later, we finally talk about it. We look up Trailer Park and it's already taken.
Yep.
And so we were like, all right.
Mondays are for the nerds.
Surprisingly, did not take us very long. I was thinking, oh man, it's going to take us forever to come up with a new title.
Yeah.
And then
I forget how the title came about.
I can't remember either. I think I just saw something about like, oh yeah, Mondays are for the birds. I'm like, wait a second.
Mondays are for the nerds.
We'll release it on Monday. We'll crunch every weekend because that was smart.
Yeah. We shot ourselves in the foot on the... Backed ourselves into the corner on that one.
Yeah. But hey,
and the occasional Tuesday.
That brought us the wonderful Mondays Are for Tuesdays quadrilogy.
Yes. That will grow.
That will grow, no doubt.
Inevitably.
But yeah. Yes. So glad to be doing this. So glad to be back talking for the last couple weeks. Honestly, though, last week was very light.
It was.
As far as Jay did my notes for me again since I was incapacitated.
Yeah.
I did manage to play video games last week, but
oh yeah, I got 3 things in my small talk.
It was
so
mine aren't small talk because they're actually like this week's releases. So
I got 2 things in this week's releases, obviously.
I did play I was playing, I think I've talked about it. I was playing through Fallen Order. I'm not playing through it right now because I decided something that frustrating was not good for my recovery.
Yeah.
And I'm currently...
How far into it are you?
I beat the second planet, but I went back to the optional planet where the Night Sisters church is.
Is that Dathomir?
The red one. Yeah, I think Dathomir. The one where you're fighting the Night Brothers and the yellow dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Dathomir.
Yeah. I decided to go back there because I was like, you know what? They said like the game warned me it was difficult, so I left, and I was like, maybe I can handle it a little better. But now I'm like to the point where I can't really go back because there's enemies behind me and in front of me because they've all respawned.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I guess I just have to keep going. And so I'm like, I'll touch it later. So I played Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga instead.
Yes.
During my recovery, other than the other things I did, and I watched a lot of Phineas and Ferb because with the new season coming out in a couple weeks,
June
5th. It's airing June 6th on Disney Plus. So like 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks-ish, yeah.
2 weeks-ish from today, which also means we're 2 weeks-ish from the Switch 2 release. But we've already talked about how we're probably not going to be able to cover any of that immediately, unfortunately. Maybe when the Switch 3 comes out, we can trade a can of beans for...
In, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, we can trade a can of beans and Jay's firstborn child for a Switch 2
I'd be like, listen,
or
I'm
Switch
sorry,
3.
but Wario 15 is a must-need.
Oh, Wario 15, man, in the next 10 years, if they make Wario 5 through 14, I'll be happy.
Exactly.
I guess 6 through 14, because there was Wario Land 4 and then there was Wario Land Shake It.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6 through 14. Anyway.
It's almost a Wario year. I just spoke that into existence. You know I have those powers.
If the year of Wario happens, Jay, we're getting tattoos.
A Wario tattoo.
Yeah.
Matching Wario tattoos.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Let this be served on the record.
Anyway, that's my small talk. I was in pain. I don't want to go into any details. Jay, you already know the details, but I don't think I was going to talk about it here.
I know the details because I went through it almost 10 years ago.
I think it was something else. The dentist is pretty sure it wasn't dry socket. That's all I'll say. Because I was listening to another, I was listening to Distractable. Shout out to a more popular podcast. Anyway, Markiplier, it was an older episode. Markiplier was talking about when he got his wisdom teeth removed and stuff, and I was like, man, I hope that doesn't happen to me. And it even worse happened. So yeah.
No.
But your small talk.
I did do I took my mom to see the Post Malone.
Yes.
In concert for it was her first concert since like the 90s. Before I was born.
Oh, wow.
So first big concert.
I could have sworn, but no, that was a theater thing. I could have sworn your mom went to, but that was a theater thing she went to.
Yeah, like Wicked and all that when we went to the Fox. Yeah, she loves Jelly Roll, and he was one of the openers, and so she loved it. I cried 3 times during Jelly Roll and twice during Post Malone. And I loved it because it was like her joint Christmas, birthday, Mother's Day present, like I did with my dad in Comic-Con. And Post Malone gave like 2 special Mother's Day shout outs to the mothers in the audience because it was like the 2 days after Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And so we loved that. It was really good. She really loved it. And then last week I saw a doubleheader at the Alamo, Hurry Up Tomorrow, which we'll talk about, and Shadow Force. Hurry Up Tomorrow. It's not good.
That's what I've heard. The consensus seems to be it's not very good.
It's not good. I thought it was boring, which I hate because of The Weeknd. The way I described it to Trey was I felt bad because you can tell how much pride The Weeknd has for it and how much I love The Weeknd. And because I love The Weeknd so much, I feel bad that I hate the movie. I don't hate the movie, that I dislike the movie as much as I did because he is so proud of it. And I'm like, the album is amazing. Came out in January, but the movie is just not good. It's boring. There's barely any plot to it. Shadow Force, on the other hand, I really liked it. It was way more enjoyable than The Weeknd. It was more funny and all that, more spies. But that is all I did apart from last night. I worked this week. The stuff I did last night we'll get into. But should I get my releases?
Yeah.
For last week and this week. I do got some of last week's news. On movies, on VOD/digital, Tuesday, May 20th, saw a Minecraft movie. And in theaters on Friday, May 16th, Final Destination Bloodlines for the 4th episode in a row released. Plagued by a violent and recurring nightmare, a college student heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle of death and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. Hurry Up Tomorrow, as we previously mentioned, for the 4th episode in a row dropped. Plagued by insomnia, a musician gets pulled into a nightmarish odyssey with a stranger who begins to unravel the very core of his existence. Wednesday, May 21st, 28 Days Later, got a re-release for the upcoming 28 years later. And on Friday, May 23rd, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning for the 6th episode in a row, I should say. Ethan Hunt and the IMF team race against time to find the Entity, a rogue artificial intelligence that can destroy mankind. I did see a doubleheader of this. This is my first one last night. I liked Dead Reckoning a little bit less than Fallout, but that's because Fallout is such a high bar. Mm-hmm. But this one I liked more, with the exception of the first 30 to 45 minutes was a lot of exposition heavy, and I almost fell asleep. And that could have been because I worked 7 to 3 and then immediately went over to the movie theater. But after that, the action, it was just so good. It was tense a lot. I loved it. And then Lilo and Stitch for the 8th episode in a row, the wildly funny and touching story of a lonely Hawaiian girl and the fugitive alien who helps to mend her broken family. The live action Lilo and Stitch came out. I did immediately go from Mission Impossible to Lilo and Stitch with my parents. I have thoughts.
I
don't
haven't
want to say anything.
The thing is, all my thoughts, because I haven't seen it, but I know about it. I have no interest in watching it. It's been my disinterest in it has been a topic at home, a very controversial topic at home, with my sister, who's very excited for it.
Yeah.
She won't accept any criticism.
I do go into things excited. I generally go into most things excited. I messaged Trey this. If it was its own thing, it's an alright movie. Give it a 7 out of 10. As a live action remake, it goes down a point, maybe 2, because of things that I can't say on here because spoilers.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not a spoiler that Captain Gantu's not in it, because
not
they officially
in it.
released that, and it's reasons for that drop it down a point to me. They don't have a lot of things that they do in the movie, in the OG one, obviously.
Dropping Gantu, changing some pivotal story points,
Yes.
some of which were definitely Disney decisions for promotion reasons, and then some being... and then there's some direction of characters and stuff I've seen. Like I said, I haven't watched the movie, but because I didn't care, I got myself spoiled anyway. And I don't know. I'm having a hard time agreeing with... because before... And I see why they probably did it, because before some of the criticism was none of the remakes were different enough. But it's almost like...
And this one is, if you're going to call it a remake...
It's more like a reboot.
Yeah.
And even then, I feel like even as a reboot, some of the decisions they make goes against the point of the movie.
My big complaint, without spoiling it, is how they filled the space with no Gantu. Those of you who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. That's my biggest complaint, and why I'm like, it's not. I don't say it's not the same thing, because obviously it's not. But it's just that is such a big, and I just don't like Zach Galifianakis as Jumbo. I was open-minded.
I was hoping he would do an accent.
I did too. Jumba is just Zach Galifianakis' voice. Also in human form, he has like veneers in, and that threw me off every single time. Where I'm like, that's all I could see whenever he was talking. I'm like, now we'll say Billy Magnuson as Pleakley is hilarious.
Okay.
That's one I thought was like, he does like a weird voice and it's hilarious. And despite them being, it's in the trailers and like photos and stuff. So, but despite their human disguises being humans, Pleakley still dresses as like some women's dresses or flamboyantly. So I'm like, okay, they kept that part. But I was telling Trey, you know who would have done a really good cast as Pleakley?
Who?
Allowed Michael Cera.
Yeah. I was almost going to say Alan Tudyk, but then
he's in everything.
he's in everything, and B, he'd just be Resident Alien again.
Exactly. He would be. No, he would. Well, no, I have like little to no complaints about Pleakley. I think Pleakley was fine. Jumba, I just didn't.
And beyond that, I don't think any other complaints can be said without breaching into spoilers.
Yeah, the music didn't slap as hard as the animated music.
That could be a nostalgia bias, though.
It's true.
True. The new version of Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride,
I would not want to get up and dance to that.
Is pretty good, but I'm also biased because I rooted for the guy that I can't remember his name. It's terrible, but he won American Idol a couple seasons ago, and I was really rooting for him.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see him do that, but also I don't know. It just felt like here lately, like this year's Disney remakes.
I will say it is far better than Snow White.
Oh yeah, absolutely is going to be far, but just because it's Stitch alone.
Oh yeah.
But also it feels like the changes they make were for the sake of like, oh man, these were too similar before. We'll overcorrect and make too many changes, and it's.
I understand why they didn't put Gantu if it's for budget reasons.
If it was for budget reasons,
I get it.
Yeah, I guess so.
But you could have filled that differently than what they did.
You could have.
That being said, I did almost cry at the end. And for those of you who are Elvis fans, shout out to you, Dad. Elvis is still a big part of it.
That's good.
There's still like 3 or 4 Elvis songs in there.
That's good.
Yeah, I told my dad beforehand, I'm like, I Googled it. There are Elvis parts, so there's not a wasted trip for you, Dad. Yeah.
How would you rate it?
I give it, like I said, if it was its own thing, about a 7. Because it's a live action remake, 5.5 or a 6.
5.5 or a 6.
I feel like 5 is too low for it because it's getting into Snow White territory.
Mm-hmm.
I did adjust my tier list, put Snow White lower.
Okay.
Because I didn't want them so close. I feel like there is a very big gap between Snow White.
Speaking of tier list, I do need to do mine with games. I keep telling you I need to do mine with games.
Yeah.
I still haven't since
and I copied the idea from you.
Since I played Slender Threads, that was the last time I updated anything.
That's been I feel like it's been so long.
It's been like February.
No, I thought it was shorter than that.
Maybe February or March. Anyway.
Yeah.
But
solid, no higher than a 6, no lower than a 5.
Okay.
Even 5 I feel like is too low for it.
But we can keep talking. We talk ourselves in circles all the time,
Yeah.
so we should probably move on.
I do got a couple more. Friendship got an expansion for the second episode in a row. I do want to see that so bad. And The Last Rodeo came out. A 50-year-old man returns to the sport of bull riding after a crisis strikes his family. On streaming, Friday, May 16th, The Brutalist came to Max, and on Friday, May 23rd, Fountain of Youth came to Apple TV+. Two estranged siblings partner on a global heist to find the mythological Fountain of Youth. They must use their knowledge of history to follow clues on an adventure that will change their lives and possibly lead to immortality. Fear Street Prom Queen also dropped on Netflix as students at Shadyside High are preparing for the 1988 prom. The It Girls are fighting to get support to be voted prom queen. As an unusual nominee emerges in the race, some of the other candidates begin to vanish without a trace. On TV, Thursday, May 15th saw Love, Death, and Robots Season 4 come to Netflix. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Season 2 come to Hulu. Dusters got its series premiere on Max. Welcome to Wrexham Season 4 dropped on FX. And Overcompensating had its series premiere on Amazon Prime. Friday, May 16th saw the series premiere of Murderbot on Apple TV Plus and the Season 7 premiere of The Chai on Paramount Plus. Monday, May 19th saw Season 5 premiere of Lego Masters on Fox, and Wednesday, May 21st saw Season 2 of 9 Perfect Strangers drop on Hulu. Thursday, May 22nd saw Sirens, the limited series, drop on Netflix, and Friday, May 23rd saw the final season of Big Mouth drop on Netflix and the 2-part documentary Pee-wee as Himself on HBO.
Did you see the trailer for K-pop Demon Hunters or whatever it's called?
I didn't.
Dude, it
it
looks so funny. I know that's in your news.
Yeah.
That's jumping ahead. But dude, it looks so funny.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it. It's Sony Pictures, so I'll probably watch it. That is all my releases.
My releases for this last couple of weeks, Monday, May 12th, we had Legacy of Sin, Ill Boding on PC from developer Absolute Power Game Studio and publisher NDIO. The world as we know it no longer exists. Join the few remaining survivors, lead them and build your city, feed your people and organize your defenses to survive the hordes of enemies attacking your kingdom. Mankind's last kingdom, our hope. You can turn a small village into a great realm. Tuesday, May 13th, we saw the release of Labyrinth of the Demon King on all major platforms. Developer J.R. Hoodapole and publisher Top Hat Studios venture through the Labyrinth of the Demon King, solving puzzles and fighting fearsome monsters in an epic quest to track down the demon who betrayed your lord and end its life. Wednesday, May 14th, saw the release of Omega Crafter on PC from developer and publisher Preferred Networks. Adventure in a vast open world survival craft game with your programmable sidekick Grammy. Program the Grammy to collect materials, build your own town, craft weapons and armor to challenge strong enemies. Play alone or with friends online. I know Grammy is probably like, it means something, but in my head, I'm like, oh, I have a little robot grandma that I like programmed to be like, Grammy, go get wood. Oh, that's Sunny.
Fighting everyone.
Like a giant like monster comes up and you're just like, like hits him with a purse. And he just like,
it's the old lady from Madagascar.
Yeah. Give me an open world survival game where I play as the old lady from Madagascar.
Oh, she's OP.
It'd make bank. Also on May 14th was Void Sails from publisher and developer Ticking Clock Games. Void Sails is a single-player adventure where you captain a flying ship across uncharted space, sail through mysterious worlds, battle powerful foes, and make story-defining choices. Uncover dark secrets in a game where every discovery could bring you closer to the truth or to madness. Thursday, May 15th saw the release of Bro Venture, the Wild Co-op on PC. Developer and publisher Alice Games. Bro Venture equals Vampire Survivors plus base building building plus co-op. Band together with friends and obliterate hordes of grueling enemies, gather crucial resources, and transform your camp into a sanctuary of liberation. Doom the Dark Ages, released on PS5, Xbox, and PC. Developers, id Software and publisher Bethesda Softworks. Doom the Dark Ages is the prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal that tells an epic cinematic story worthy of the Doomslayer's legend. In this third installment of the Doom series, players will step into the bloodstained boots of the Doomslayer in this never-before-seen dark and sinister medieval war against hell.
I'm trying to look for what Trent said about it. Or what he had heard said about it.
All right, said Trent didn't get... So Trent, who has been on here before, was going to play the game and give us thoughts that we could talk about, like Trey did with what the movie? Sinners.
Yeah, Sinners. Before I saw it.
But unfortunately, his computer, like most people's computers they found, because apparently it is too powerful for most computers, for most PCs that people find. So he was going to give us thoughts, but... I've heard it's divisive.
Yeah.
Like, some people love the story, some people don't. Some people love the gameplay, some people don't. And apparently this is a cycle for the Doom franchise, because the original Doom trilogy, 1 was beloved, 2 was like seen as like good, but not as good as the first one. And then 3 was divisive and almost too powerful for computers at the time.
Yeah.
And it's done
That's
it
weird.
again. They did it again. So hopefully at some point... maybe that's going to be like an Astrobot where we get to it
later,
once Trent's able to get it on a different console or something.
Yeah.
Because like he told us like he's bad at shooters if he's not using a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
So
which
I understand. I tried playing Power Wash Simulator on the PS5 and I was like, yeah, no.
It's like me with not Zoo Tycoon, Planet Zoo. Mm-hmm. Like, this is obviously meant for PC. I'm getting frustrated.
It's why I can't wait. That's why I can't wait to have a Switch too. Because any first-person shooter game I want to play, I am good at first-person shooters with controllers. Because the only first-person shooters that I've played have been like Metroid and like maybe a couple others, and you've been using controllers. So as long as I can twin stick it, I'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But Doom is also way faster paced, so who knows?
Yeah.
Nubs Arena, released on PC from Orangutan and Glowfish Interactive. As a true chaotic nub warrior, your skills will be put to the ultimate test in a trap-filled arena. Arm yourself with a can of beans, Bernie hog stick, or a fish as you battle your way to the top in short, fast-paced multiplayer brawls. And Tennis Manager 25 from Rebound CG on PC. Dive into the most advanced tennis management experience to date. Manage your academy, develop your staff and facilities, and recruit the best players from junior to pro across both men's and women's circuits. Forge the champions of tomorrow and shape the future of tennis. Friday, May 16th saw the release of Capcom Fighting Collection 2 on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC from publisher from Capcom. Capcom's new Fighting Collection hits the stage. Choose from fan favorite games like Capcom versus SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium 2001, and Project Justice, to 3D action games like Power Stone and Power Stone 2, and this collection of 8 classic fighting games, as well as the release of Kulebra and the Souls of Limbo on Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC from developer Gala and publisher Fellow Traveler. Use your wits, kindness, and maybe a good whack to gather clues, items, and evidence that will help the residents of Limbo move on. Untangling an afterlife is no easy feat, especially when you don't have feet. This is one of the releases I got to play.
Yes.
It was on sale for pretty cheap. Like, they did a release sale, so it was pretty cheap, and I bought it. It is a Paper Mario inspired in art style, but it's a lot more like... I mean, I guess it's still Paper Mario in exploration, but there's no combat. You're just exploring, collecting items, talking to people, and you're helping souls move on. It is Latin American inspired. You play as the skeleton of a snake named Kulebra, who comes to life, has no memories of his life before he died, and this mysterious old lady is like, you are a bright soul, and it is your job to help souls move on. And so you help souls move on.
I like that.
From limbo to the afterlife. And the whole catch is there's a day-night system. And you, because you're a bright soul, remember everything from the day before. Souls who are in limbo, who haven't moved on yet, live in like a Groundhog Day scenario where they only remember they loop, and so they don't remember meeting you every day unless you do something that impacts their soul, and then they'll remember you, and then you can, and then since they'll remember the day passing, you can get them closer to moving on.
Oh, I feel like that's a game that would make me cry.
Oh, dude, it is such a sweet. I haven't beat it yet.
What's it on?
It is on Xbox, Switch, and PC. I don't think it's on PS5, unfortunately. But it is.
Jay just stared off into this.
Yeah.
I just said Jay.
He had this look on his face like, "What? Look what they did to my boy." Anyway, it is so good. I can't really talk about it with going into spoilers, but you have your main story you're following. You're also following like this. There's these optional / not optional because the game kind of pushes you in that direction at some point, but they're optional early on. These optional dungeons that tells the story of like this, and I don't know if it's an actual Latin American folklore story or if it's something they made up, because I'm just not that well versed in.
See, I would love that.
Where it's like in the beginning of life, there were only 5 animals: the bird, the snake, the frog, the hare, and the goat. And the snake and the bird decide to team up and kill the other 3 animals. And then when they have nothing left, the bird turns on the snake. And you're like, well, I'm playing as a snake. Does this have to do with my life? Or is this a little more allegorical than I'm thinking? Which I don't know the answer to that yet. I don't want there to be too many spoilers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I just spoiled something about the game telling that, because it seems like it's like the way it's told. I would believe it if it's an actual folklore that inspired the game, folklore story.
That gives me Coco mixed with Soul vibes.
It's very Coco mixed with Soul. There's a game called Spiritfarer where you're like running a boat that you sail back and forth and you're helping souls move
I feel
on.
like I've heard of that one.
It is a very, very good game. I need to download it and beat it because I only played the first little bit and then it emotionally devastated me, so I stopped playing. And this, but this game is, and it's also funny. There's optional souls that you can help move on, and they're like. It's explained to you so there is a mail carrying service that's ran by birds because birds can enter the land of the dead and help, and so they help the souls who loop every day. They help the souls like get their mail, and they like keep track of what souls haven't moved on yet. Like it's like this bureaucracy run by birds.
I love that.
And I love that. They go, oh yeah, so there's these souls that you could help them move on if you want, because bright souls really don't need to help them. They just, when a person dies and they have like one minor thing that's keeping them tied to limbo, their whole soul won't stay behind. Only a fragment of it will stay behind, and the rest of it then will move on. And so you're helping people with problems like, I've never been beaten at rock, paper, scissors. I just want to be beaten once before I die. And so you help them, and it's like, thanks. And they just poof away. Or there's a funny one where this guy's like, I've been waiting my whole life to hear this one thing. And he listens to it, and he goes, that was it? Poof. And so different things like that where it's like they are where the comic relief comes in.
Yeah.
Because the main story gets pretty heavy. Like,
I can imagine.
You're dealing with trauma and like reasons for souls not to move on.
Yeah.
You know, like trauma and guilt and wanting to atone for things they've done and different things where it gets pretty heavy, but it's also pretty exciting. There's one area where it's like a western town, so there's like a showdown on a bridge, and I was legitimately like, oh, please don't make this, even though the characters are already technically dead. I was
but
like,
still, like, you don't want to kill this person.
Please no, don't make it be this way. Like the story is very good. If I were to rate it based on what I played, because I'm pretty close to beating it, if I were to rate it, I would maybe give it an 8. It's not quite like there's maybe because of a lack of combat. And some of the puzzles were pretty, like, I was like, I don't know, I don't know. There's just something about it that keeps me from going like, oh, this game is great, but it's still really, really good. Yeah. I love the story. Obviously, I love the art style. Anything that takes inspiration from Paper Mario is going to be a plus in my book. Yeah. But there's just some things about it where, like, movement's not pretty slow. You have a way to move faster, but it's like, sometimes moving back and forth and sometimes having to skip time to get to certain times a day and everything can get a little tedious. But it's still a fantastic game. So yeah, check out that game, guys. They're not getting a lot of like notice. Yeah. So please please check that out
Sounds
because
so
they really
good.
do deserve everyone to be playing this game and looking at it.
Yeah.
Of Life and Land, released on PC from developers Curzovin and publisher Curzovin and Metaroot. Of Life and Land is a charming settlement building strategy game paired with a rich simulation experience. Every animal and plant strives to find its place in nature while you lead your villagers to their future. Expand to different regions and trade with local factions to gain needed resources. May 18th saw the release of Smoke Break on PC from devs Applewood Studios and publisher USC Games. Smoke Break is a lighthearted 3D stealth puzzle game where you play as Applewood, a living puff of smoke. By breaking machinery, dashing past bakers, and using your smoke to grow, you can hunt down the ultimate yet elusive burnt pie. May 19th saw the release of Frog Legs on PC from Elliot Dale, a short single-player horror action game starring Carl the suburban house frog. Will you be able to conquer arcade challenges, solve puzzles, and rivet and tear your way through the life you once knew? So if anyone doesn't remember, that is the game that is both classic Frogger, first-person horror, and Doom.
Yes.
So rivet and tear. I love that. May 20th saw the release of Sea of Stars, Throes of the Watchmaker DLC. I have a reason to go back and play more Sea of Stars.
Yes.
Throes of the Watchmaker sends Solstice warriors Valir and Zale on a side adventure into the miniature clockwork world of Horloge, where a cursed carnival threatens its innocent denizens. To survive, they'll need to play by unfamiliar rules and survive not only with mischievous puppeteer and her minions, but also their own darker traits. So apparently, they get new movesets, so the combat's completely different. You get a new party member, so you have another attacks to remember. Like, I am so excited for this. Kathy Rain 2, Soothsayer on PC from devs Clifftop Games and publisher Raw Fury. In this point and click urban thriller, down and out private eye Kathy Rain will embark on her most dangerous case yet, the pursuit of the notorious serial killer known as the Soothsayer. Find clues, gather evidence, and connect the dots and confront the murderer before the hunter becomes the hunted. I played the first 30 minutes of this last night just so I could talk about it, because if you remember, I played the first Kathy Rain and I think I talked about it on here.
I think so.
It was a game I bought a long time ago, and I finally got around to playing it, and I loved it. It was either last year or earlier this year. Time's flown by, so it's kind of blurred together.
Yeah.
But I really loved it, and then I found out that Kathy Rain 2 was coming out, or was like going to be coming out this year, and it finally released, so I played the first bit. It is very interesting so far. Set 3 years after the first one.
Is it like good interesting or?
Oh, good interesting.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, ooh, because the reason they call the killer the Soothsayer is because he leaves a shattered scrying mirror. He or she leaves a shattered scrying mirror at the scene of the crime. And so that's the only clue you have, other than the first puzzle was having to reverse search through newspaper archives to find the names of all the victims, because you only have the name of the newest victim.
Yeah.
So you're like, I know when she dies, I need to read the newspaper here, and it gives me a hint on what newspaper I need to look up for this victim. And so
I would love stuff like that.
Dude, it's so fun, and I've only played like the first 30-45 minutes.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to play
It's like your
more.
next addiction.
Yeah, I can't wait to play more, but also it's enough for me to go, I can stop myself and like I'll play when I have time. It's not like I'm like, I need to play this now. But yeah, so go check that out. Raw Fury's really winning because they also published Blueprints.
Yeah.
May 21st saw the release of Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time on all major platforms from level 5. Step into the slow life RPG where you can freely switch between 14 unique jobs, so-called lives, and enjoy a carefree life in a fantasy world. Fish, cook, shape the island to your liking, or team up with friends to battle monsters across a vast world. Game of Thrones King's Road on PC and mobile from Netmarble, a story-driven action-adventure RPG bringing the world of Westeros to life with remarkable detail and never-before-seen scale. Tales of Psyche entered early access on PC from devs Ace Entertainment and publisher Fireshine Games. Settle into your magical new life in a world of yokai. Harness your powers to transform, to manage your farm and explore the world. Grow bonds with extraordinary islanders and uncover the secrets of Psyche. Adventure, magic, and romance await in this enchanting farming life sim. May 22nd saw the release of The Amazing Wizard. It entered early access on PC from Tiny Goblins. An Amazing Wizard is a 2D fast-paced Metroidvania-inspired spell-slinging roguelike where you'll create spells, master 7 elements, and merge 120 unique spells in any order to create endless possibilities. Choose from 250 perks and 200 artifacts. Collect your lost memories and reclaim the true name. Blades of Fire released on PC, PS5, and Xbox from devs Mercury Steam and publisher 505 Games. From the award-winning studio Mercury Steam comes a new action-adventure where you forge your own weapons and face fierce enemies in a unique combat system. Join Aaron DeLira on his journey to find real purpose of his fate. Deliver at all costs, released on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation from devs Far Out Games and publisher Konami. Deliver at all costs is a thrilling action game where destruction, absurdity, and intrigue collide. Step into the shoes of Winston Green, a down on his luck courier with a fiery temper and a mysterious past, as he delivers highly unconventional cargo, leaving a trail of havoc and chaos behind him. Gloom, a wicked misadventure, entered early access on PC from Cindercat Games. In this unique first-person booter, you take on the role as Gloom, the crude ass-kicking goblin with his magical ass-kicking boot. Indulge in wacky physics-based combat, over-the-top violence, and dark humor with a dash of platforming and points for being extra stylish and sadistic. Grandma No, released on PC from devs of Wall Ride and publisher Super Rare Original. Step into Grandma's slippers and wreak havoc in this physics-driven comedy where nothing stays under control, and that's exactly the point. Fart, flop, and fumble your way through a home that refuses to behave.
I forgot about Grandma No.
Linked Banner of the Spark on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation from devs FuzzyBot and publisher Dreamhaven. Build a bright new world alongside a band of rescued robot buddies. In this colorful action RPG, battle waves of enemies in solo or co-op. Then return home and use their parts to craft a thriving town. Assemble your crew and grow stronger with each new adventure. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown on PC from Strange Scaffold. Splinter and Shredder are dead. Help the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tackle deadly new threats and approach the approach of adulthood in this fast-paced, turn-based beat 'em up. Man, AMNT, Adult Mutant Ninja Turtles. Trident Tail on all major platforms from 3D Clouds. Uncover the secrets of the Storm Trident and rule the seas. Your legend awaits in Trident's Tail. Worshippers of Cthulhu on PC and from Crazy Goat Games and publisher Crytivo. Lead the cult of Cthulhu. Decide the fate of your followers. Perform eldritch rituals and master the art of city building in a world where the line between sanity and madness blurs. Can you endure the horrors you unleash? As well as YouTubers Life 3, streamed together on PC from Uplay Online. Reach the top of the rankings. Create your dream home with a luxury setup. Compete online in real time with other users by streaming, creating VODs, and editing them in the most epic way. And don't forget to share your photos and unique time-limited events on your calendar. May 23rd saw the release of Garden of Witches, entering early access on PC from Team Tapas. Guardian of Witches is a cute roguelike action game full of danger. Help the protagonist as she tries to round up her unruly fellow witches and save the garden. Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny remaster on all major platforms from Capcom. Reclaim your destiny. Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny returns with higher resolution graphics and modernized controls to perform critical counterattacks and intense swordplay. Experience this dramatic revenge story set in feudal Japan. Set up a culinary adventure on all major platforms from Kopi Forge and publishers Isolated Games and Indie Arc. Setup is a co-op cooking combat adventure that combines the chaos of a collaborative kitchen and the wonders of adventuring into an unexplored world. Embark on an exciting culinary journey, whip up delectable delicacies, and serve your way through a fantastical reimagination of Southeast Asia. And finally, Tinkerlands on PC from devs Code Menu and Endless Coffee and publisher Hypertrain Digital. Explore, craft, and fight your way through uncharted islands, solo or with up to 4 players in co-op. Tinkerlands is an exciting survival adventure where you will build your settlement, craft useful tools to survive, and even use magic.
And for my first batch of miscellaneous posters, last week I got posters for Hurry Up Tomorrow, the Dolby poster for the 4th episode in a row. F1 Alpha, 28 years later for the 6th episode in a row. The Bear Season 4, Nobody 2, Ballerina. Wicked for Good, Karate Legends for the 2nd episode in a row. Karate Kid Legends. Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2, The New King of the Hill, and The Bad Guys 2. And this week we got posters for Zootopia 2, Dangerous Animals, Jurassic World Rebirth, Real D 3D poster, The Phoenician Scheme for the 2nd episode in a row, specifically the Michael Cera character poster, and a new poster for K-Pop Demon Hunters. Trailers last week, F1 released June 27th in theaters, Ballerina releasing June 6th in theaters, Nobody 2 releasing August 15th in theaters, Bridgerton Season 4 releasing next year on Netflix. The Bad Guys 2 releasing August 1st in theaters, and Task releasing in September on HBO. The Nobody 2, awesome. This week, we got a trailer for The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, releasing 2025 on Hulu and Disney Plus sometime this year. Alpha, releasing in October in theaters. Predator, Killer of Killers, releasing June 6th on Hulu. It, Welcome to Derry, releasing fall 2025 on HBO. Jurassic World Rebirth, releasing July 2nd in theaters, but not in IMAX. Zootopia 2, releasing November 26th in theaters. The Bear Season 4, releasing June 25th on Hulu. Caught Stealing, releasing August 29th in theaters. Chief of War, releasing August 1st on Apple TV+. Titan, The Ocean Gate Disaster, releasing June 11th on Netflix. The Mastermind, releasing 2025 in theaters. And K-Pop Demon Hunters, releasing June 20th on Netflix. I need to go back and watch that now.
Yeah, we jumped ahead because I got too excited. That it looks funny.
It looked good from the
and it's a K-pop girl band. I think the villains is a K-pop boy band.
Of course. I'm so down.
And
it's like Battle of the Bands.
The one clip I keep seeing people share is the one where like they're making faces, and it's just very, I mean, it's very like anime kind of, but also it gives me like specifically the kind of anime influence that Turning Red had.
Yeah, where it's like
the exaggerated facial. Anyway, it's just. Oh, it looks so funny.
I'm excited.
And I'm not even in like the K-pop crowd.
You're not the target audience for it.
But I'm still like it's enough of my it's fights and stuff, so it's gonna be enough of
where you're there.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. Release dates for last week. The Paper releases in September on Peacock. That is the Office spinoff. Alien Earth premieres on August 12th on Hulu. Anemone releases October 10th in theaters. It's Daniel Day-Lewis coming out of retirement to star in the film, which will be directed by his son Ronan. Wicked will be re-released in theaters on June 4th with a first look at the Wicked for Good trailer. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms was delayed to 2026. The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender was delayed by 9 months to October 9th, 2026. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem sequel was delayed almost a year to September 17th, 2027. And Deliver Me From Nowhere will release in theaters on October 24th of this year. And then this week, Die My Love, Mubi has acquired the rights to Lynn Ramsey's film in a major bidding war film starring Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. Will get a full theatrical release. The Day Before the Earth Blew Up, Looney Tunes movie, releasing on Max on June 27th. Devil Wears Prada 2 releases on May 1st, 2026 in theaters. And the Avatar The Way of Water re-releasing in theaters on October 3rd. Why? In castings for last week, How to Rob a Bank for the 4th episode in a row, Zoe Kravitz has been cast. The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping. I debated keeping last week's with this week's, but no, I split them. The casting director for this, I saw on TikTok, a guy was like, man, the director of casting is on fire because he knows there's going to be an Oscars category for it by the time it comes out. This is the first batch. I do have this week's. Maya Hawke was been cast as Wyrus. Lily Taylor is cast as Mags Flanagan. Kelvin Harrison Jr. cast as B.T. Latier. Ben Wang cast as Wyatt Callow. And Ray Fiennes cast as President Snow, which Kiefer Sutherland I know is a fan favorite, obviously. But like Ray Fiennes, I'm there. Rachel Zegler being like, not my ex being Voldemort. In canon ex being Voldemort. Buffy the Vampire Slayer revival. Ryan Kiera Armstrong has been cast as the lead. Shrinking Season 3, Michael J. Fox will return to acting in the upcoming season, which I saw someone say it will have him, Jeff Daniels, and Harrison Ford on the same season. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel, Elizabeth Debicki is in talks to star alongside Brad Pitt. This week, Toy Story 5 has announced that Conan O'Brien is being cast as a character called Smarty Pants. The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping. As I said, there were more announced this week. Molly McCann has been cast as Luella McCoy. Iona Bell is cast as McCoy's Capital Sign lookalike Lulu. Elle Fanning has been cast as a young Effie Trinket. And Kieran Culkin has been cast as a young Caesar Flickerman. Avatar The Last Airbender Season 2 and 3 announced some castings. Daikon Lockman has been cast as Yang Chen. Madison Hu has been cast as Faye. Dolly DeLeon has been cast as Lo and Lee. Lily Gao has been cast as Ursa. Terry Chen is cast as Zhang Zhang. And John Briones has been cast as Piandao. And Tantu Cardinal has been cast as Hama. Greta Gerwig's Narnia has cast Carey Mulligan as Diggory's mother. Cillian Murphy and Daniel Craig are in talks to star in a prison drama with Damien Chazelle set to direct. The Backrooms, his Chiwetel Ejiofor and Kristen Milioti are in talks to star in the film for A24. The Street Fighter movie, Jason Momoa and Roman Reigns are in talks to star, and Andrew Koji and Noah Centineo are officially in talks to star as Ryu and Ken. The Scrubs revival, Zach Braff will officially return, and Evil Dead Burn for the second episode in a row, Hunter Doohan.
I didn't even, until I saw that Zach Braff thing, I didn't even know Scrubs was getting a revival.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. I had to been like a couple months ago.
I knew that Buffy was getting one, but like Scrubs just completely. And what's funny is a couple months ago is when I started watching Scrubs again. So.
Yeah. Now, they called it a reboot, but I'm pretty sure I'd heard that it was a revival.
Well, I mean, if he's coming back, it's got to be, right?
A revival, yeah. That's why I put revival in this. That is all of my first batch of miscellaneous.
I do have miscellaneous gaming news. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra has been delayed to early 2026, which we haven't seen anything about it yet.
Yeah,
what were you expecting?
Yeah, but still, it looks so good.
Switch 2's mouse controls can be used to navigate the home menu. Tony Hawk will campaign all he can for a remaster of Tony Hawk's Underground. Stellar Blade releases on PC June 11th. The complete edition includes the base game and all DLC. Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, the mobile game, has been canceled. It was going to be like, as far as lore-wise, it was going to be a huge story thing. They've been hyping this up for years, and it got canceled. But they did confirm they're still hard at work on Kingdom Hearts 4, and later that night, images from Kingdom Hearts 4 were posted. So hopefully Missing Link's story can be told in another way, because they've really been like working towards telling this story before telling Kingdom Hearts 4's story. But hopefully that also means that Kingdom Hearts 4 can come out sooner than later, because the whole joke was Kingdom Hearts 3 would never come out, but at least we got spin-offs between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten anything since 3 came out.
How long has it been since 3?
3 came out in 2018?
I feel like it was around that.
2019. So it has been 6 years since Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, and about 4 or 5 since Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I guess we did get one spin-off. We got the rhythm game. Anyway, which is also canon. You have to play it to understand some stuff. Anyway. Don't even get me started on. Moving on. Japan's Pokemon Fossil Museum is traveling to the U.S. for the first time in 2026. The exhibit, which features fabricated Pokemon fossils with ancient life forms found in real-world fossils, is coming to Chicago's Field Museum on May 22nd, 2026. I smell field trip.
Yes, dude, I'm so down.
Silver Palace reveal trailer. We got an anime-inspired RPG fantasy adventure game inspired by Elementa using Unreal Engine 5. Players assume the role of a detective tasked with investigating crimes and solving mysteries in the industrialized metropolis of Silvernia. It took me a while to get my brain to process that.
Yeah.
Various factions of corporate powerhouses, underground crime syndicates, royal affiliates, and cultists all vie for control of the mystical power source Silverium, stoking tensions across the city. Embark on an adventure with a diverse group of partners and unravel the mysteries and cover the truth behind the transformative and mysterious new element Silvernium, which has propelled boundless growth in its namesake city. Coming soon to consoles, mobile, and PC. That actually, it's probably going to end up being free to play or something.
Yeah.
That actually catches my attention.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
Norigin reveal trailer, upcoming cinematic boss climbing narrative game with a beautiful art style that's about family and self-discovery. Stalker Legends of Zone Enhanced Edition was announced. Players will soon be able to access the trilogy of games in the Stalker franchise, fully enhanced with refined visuals for the latest generation of hardware. Stalker Legends of Zone is fitted with Shadow of Chernobyl, Clear Sky, and Call of Pripyat, each with an overhaul with upgraded visuals, next-gen console optimizations, and expanded support. Launches May 20th for PS5, PS4, Xbox, and PC. So there's a release I forgot to write down in my releases. Copycat got a console release date of May 29th for PS5 and Xbox Series X. A new Jar Jar Binks skin for Fortnite has been revealed, as well as a Darth Jar Jar skin. Apple has blocked Fortnite from releasing on iPhones. This has since been resolved.
Yep.
So disregard that, I guess. A Darth Vader AI was added to Fortnite that will be able to talk to you. It went so poorly. It quickly started saying slurs and problematic things, which they patched out. And then it started saying other problematic things, which they patched out. And instead of learning their lesson and taking it out, they just keep patching it. And yes, James Earl Jones did like leave his voice for AI, and his family was like involved, but it was still like you gotta wonder at what extent did this 90-something-year-old man know what he was signing up for.
Yeah.
It was a crap show.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Phantom X was announced to be coming to PC and mobile June 26th. This was previously released in Japan. Don't get too excited. It is a gacha game, but it's still kind of an RPG. It's like, I love Persona, but I'm also like, it's a gacha game, so I don't know. Hideo Kojima has left behind a USB full of game ideas for when he passes. Survival Kids, Gradius the Interstellar Assault, Kirby Star Stacker, and Sword of Hope have been added to the Game Boy NSO app from on May 22nd. A teaser was released for Mystery House, a 3D reimagining of the Roberta Williams 1980s Sierra Adventure classic, coming soon to PC. A teaser released for Little Mage, an upcoming 2D Metroidvania set in a desolate city of Horendos and the Basilica. House Flipper Remastered Collection was announced, a remaster of House Flipper with all DLC coming to console and PC this winter. As of May 15th, Nintendo's San Francisco store is officially open. Killer Instinct was added to N64 NSO app May 16th. Siberia Remastered was announced. The remastered classic point-and-click game will come to Xbox, PS5, and PC. Turn-based tactical thriller Critical Shift has been announced. Explore a facility buried underneath the ice with ever-transforming dangers, coming to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation in 2025. And finally, Castle of Heart Retold, a reworked version of the precision platformer, coming to Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox, and PlayStation 2, quarter 2 2025, which technically I think we're in quarter 2.
Yeah.
We're on the tail end. So if it's not coming out in June, it's not coming out in quarter 2.
Yeah.
But that is my gaming news for this week. No anniversaries this week because Jay has a lot, and it's 2 weeks of news. That's kind of the general rule. Other than the big anniversary we already talked about. So
1 year to the pod. By my second batch of miscellaneous, in new looks, we got a new clip from Karate Kid Legends for the second episode in a row. Lilo and Stitch for the 8th episode in a row. New look at Jumba and Pleakley. Jurassic World Rebirth, we got our first look at a Mutodon, which is described as a combination of a pterosaur and a velociraptor. And a new look at the mutant dinosaur D-Rex. New behind-the-scenes featurette of Wednesday Season 2. First clip of Ballerina. New look at Austin Butler and Eddington. First clip from the Phineas and Ferb revival. Looks so good.
It looks good. The animation's a little off, but also it's been 10 years, so obviously the animation is going to be a little different, but I'm already like getting used to it.
Yeah.
It looks fun. The song was good.
It looks good.
The only person who sounds like I can tell it's been a while is Candace. I would have figured Phineas would have sounded a little older, but Candace is the only one that really kind of sounded older.
And they kept her.
They kept everyone. They kept except Ferb. Ferb is a different actor, but he's the same actor from the 2020 movie. Yeah. Because when they made the 2020 movie, the guy who originally voiced Ferb refused to come back.
Universe.
He refused to come back. Who knows, for whatever reason. He after Phineas and Ferb started Maze Runner, so he's a little more mainstream now than the rest of the cast, I would say. That might not be fair to say, or might not be making assumptions, but he didn't come back, so they replaced him. So people are like, they replaced Ferb. They replaced him 5 years ago. Yeah, it's just him.
Used to it.
You'll get used to it. Everyone else coming back is great.
We got a new look at Jamie Curtis and Lindsay Lohan in Freakier Friday, and new images from Bring Her Back. In first looks, we got a first look at The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. This is the Amazing World of Gumball coming back. I love how they wake up in the teaser. They're covered in dust and like, we have to get to school. What time is it? It's like, it's been 7 years. I love it.
It is so funny.
I love it.
I can't wait. I don't know why they changed the title other than the fact that it's been so long.
Yeah.
Which I can't believe it's been 7 years. Can you believe it's been 7 years
since
the last episode? Because to me it felt like they lasted until at least 2020. I'm like, it's only been 5 years.
Yeah.
But no, 7 years. The Switch was relatively new
when the last Gumball
episode aired.
Stop.
Animation's the same. The new actors sound. Piper and I were talking about this. The Gumball actors are like Velma's voice actresses over the years.
Didn't you change that the actual show?
Yeah, throughout the actual show they changed it, where it's like Velma's Gumball and Darwin's voice actors are like Velma's, where up until recently Velma's voice actor always sounded similar enough to where you're like, that is You know,
Yeah.
So Gumball and Dharma were the same way. They got different voice actors, but they found kids that almost sounded exactly the same.
Exactly.
The only shocking change to me is they recast the sister. I would have figured they would. They
Anais?
they let the sister's voice they let Anais's voice get older in the original. So I figured they would have just brought her back, but no, they recast Anais. So I wonder if they're gonna make her sound young again, or sound like a toddler again.
I need to finish that show.
Season
Gumball so
the last
much.
season's all right. It started to get way too meta.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I could also see where the burnout was coming from. Of like
Yeah.
they were making way too many like fourth wall breaking jokes and reference humor and stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully maybe they can dial it back a little bit, because like season 3 and 4 is probably peak. Is probably when they hit their stride, and then 5 and 6 is where you can tell they were almost like, oh, this is the jokes that are catching on. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
get
It was
some of
still
that.
hilarious,
Yeah.
but it was
'Cause
almost
it's Gumball.
But
you can't have a not.
yeah, every season of Gumball is good in its own way.
Yeah.
The original is good for these reasons. The second
Yeah.
season's good for like, it's kind of like the second season's good for the same reason the second season of Bob's Burgers is a good first season of Bob's Burgers, where they finally found their identity, and then season
Kind of
3,
like Parks and Rec.
and then season
The
3 is
Office.
where they just get
Yeah.
their stride, and then 4 it escalates from there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm excited.
I'm gonna watch it day one.
It is airing on Cartoon Network too.
Yeah.
People are like, it's coming to Disney Plus. It's only because it's part of Hulu.
Yeah.
Hulu's in Disney Plus now.
Yeah, it's coming to Hulu.
They just
so,
have to specify Disney Plus, because you can watch Hulu through Disney Plus now.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it is still a Cartoon Network original. It's just not coming to Max.
Yeah.
Or it might eventually come to Max. Who
Eventually.
knows? We don't know what Max is doing.
Yeah. We never do. Whistle, we got our first look at Daphne Keene. Horror film follows a group of students who find an Aztec death whistle and discover that the sound it emits will summon their future deaths to hunt them down. Just don't blow it. Flow right up, bust through the door. Snoopy presents a summer musical. First look at the first Peanuts musical in 35 years, releasing July 18th on Apple TV Plus.
I really hope my whistling didn't interrupt all of the description, so we don't get the description of the movie.
I didn't hear the whistle till like afterwards.
Okay.
So I think we're good.
You had started to end your sentence, and I whistled. So
Oh,
hopefully it doesn't overlap.
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's a new Dora movie, live action Dora movie.
Yeah.
Hitting Paramount. I didn't know this
Hitting
until I saw
Paramount
this.
Plus like next month.
I had to search. Yeah, no, July 2nd. We got our first look. I had to search for the title. Dora and the Search for Sol Dorado. First look. We got our first look images releasing July 2nd on Paramount Plus. It's not Isabella Merced.
Yeah.
I think it's like its own thing.
It looks like it's a standalone.
Because Diego looks
standalone.
different.
Yeah.
It's a different guy. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I'll check it out.
I'm down.
Hey, let's have a watch party with Trey.
Yes. Yes. Dora in the Search for Sol Dorado. In box office earnings, Sinners for the 5th episode in a row became the 6th horror film in history to pass $200 million domestically. Joined the 1 million watch club on Letterboxd, fastest movie in 2025 to hit the milestone so far, and it passed $300 million worldwide. Clown in a Cornfield for the 2nd episode in a row earned IFC's biggest opening weekend box office to date at $3.6 million on a budget of less than $1 million. Final Destination Bloodlines for the 4th episode in a row earned $21.7 million in the film's domestic opening day. Opens with $51 million domestically, which is the biggest opening for an R-rated horror movie this decade and biggest opening for a Final Destination movie ever. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning for the 6th episode in a row earned $24.8 million in its domestic opening day, which is the biggest opening day for the franchise. And Lilo and Stitch earned $55 million in its domestic opening day and is tracking to have the biggest Memorial Day weekend opening of all time. And the combination have both already passed $100 million globally. In Glenn Powell news, Chad Powers, we got will premiere on September 20th on Hulu. How to Train Your Dragon for the 3rd episode in a row got our first clip was released, and Universal's Epic Universe opens up, and the Isle of Berk features over 30 animatronic dragons. In new announcements, Michelle Yeoh will star in a new uniquely stylized action film called The Surgeon. It follows a retired surgeon who is abducted and forced to operate on a mysterious patient. She must use her surgical experience to escape her captors. A Creed spinoff series in the works titled Delphi. The series follows the young boxers that train at the boxing gym from the films, and Malcolm B. Jordan will be executive producing, releasing on Amazon Prime. A Cocomelon movie will release in theaters in 2027. Elizabeth Olsen, Kristen Stewart,
Directed
and
by J.J. Abrams.
Directed by J.J. It's a live action. It's just super great. Elizabeth Olsen, Kristen Stewart, and Oscar Isaac will star in a new vampire thriller, Flesh of the Gods, from director Panos Cosmatos. Film follows the couple in 80s LA who are seduced by the Nameless and her hard-partying cabal into a dangerous world. Spring Breakers 2, titled Spring Breakers 2 Salvation Mountain, is in the works. Surprise drop. First poster was released. It will star Bella Thorne, Ariel Martin, Grace Van Dyne, and the True Whitaker. Jeremy Allen White, Anna Sawai, and Hidetoshi Nishijima and Austin Butler will star in Henry Dunham's crime thriller Enemies for A24. Follows a relentless detective and an infamous contract killer who collide in a deadly game of cat and mouse. Live-action Riders Republic movies in the works with Idil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah set to direct. Denzel Washington, Robert Pattinson, and Daisy Edgar-Jones will star in Here Comes the Flood from director Fernando Mireles. Film follows an unconventional heist thriller about a bank guard, a teller, and a master thief. Cosmo Jarvis will star as Joseph Stalin in a biopic titled Young Stalin. A Rambo Origins movie is in the works with Jelmari Helander from Sisu set to direct. Brie Larson will star in a new creature horror film, Failsafe, follows a young boy who discovers his parents are hiding a disturbing secret about his mother's true nature. Be directed by J.T. Molnar and written by Brian Duffield. SWAT is returning again with a sequel series titled SWAT Exiles with Shamar Moore returning. An animated Clash of Clans series in the works of Netflix. A live-action animated hybrid Whack-A-Mole movie is in the works. I saw that and I was like, what the crap? Disney is already talking about sequels for the live-action Lilo and Stitch. Dwayne Johnson will star in a new psychological thriller Breakthrough for A24. Film follows a young man who comes under the influence of a motivational guru who uses morally questionable methods of manipulation. Alan Ritchson will star in a new action-adventure film Fortune, described as Memento meets Raiders of the Lost Ark, which sounds very intriguing. And a live-action Elden Ring movie is officially in the works at A24 with Alex Garland set to write and direct. In my miscellaneous mentionables, AMC will reduce prices by 50% on Wednesday starting from July, with the aim to get more people into theaters between weekends. Lego, for the second episode in a row, we got a new Simpsons set coming out. Lego Icons Krusty Burger will be 1,635 pieces, retailing for $209.99, releasing on June 4th. I believe it comes with Homer, Bart, Krusty, Sideshow Bob, the Worker.
Homer, Bart, Lisa, Krusty, Sideshow Bob, Officer
Worker.
Lou, and then the Worker.
The teenage.
The teenage. I can't remember. He has an actual name, but he's just called.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, even on Simpsons Tapped Out, rest in peace, was
that's right.
He was called like Squeaky Voiced Teen or something.
Yeah.
So
Going to be the minifigures for that. Max is changing its name back to HBO Max. That feels like old news.
Well, because I texted you.
Yeah.
I think it was the day after I got my wisdom teeth cut out. I saw that and I was like, bruh.
Yeah. They're doing it again. Sesame Street's found a new home at Netflix. New episodes of the series will release on Netflix later this year. Yellow Jackets has been renewed for season 4.
And it's important to note with the Sesame Street, they will also be airing on PBS.
Yes.
Netflix will be funding to air on PBS.
Yes. I forgot about that. That is all my miscellaneous news for this week. I do have the Cannes Film Festival was last week and this week. Just a little bit on it. In official selections, in competition for the Palme d'Or, the movies were Alpha, Case 137, Die My Love, Eagles of the Republic, Eddington, Fiore, The History of Sound, It Was Just an Accident, The Little Sister, The Mastermind, Nouvelle Vague, The Phoenician Scheme, Renoir, Resurrection, Romeria, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sirat, Sound of Falling, Two Prosecutors, Woman and Child, and The Young Mother's Home. And the Palme d'Or Awards, which is the big like best picture of it. Resurrection went home with the pre-special. Best Screenplay went to Dardenne Brothers for Young Mothers. Best Actor went to Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Secret Agent also took Best Director for Kleber Mendonça. Best Actress went to Nadia Malidi for The Little Sister. Jury Prize went to Sirat and Sound of Falling. Grand Prix went to Sentimental Value. And the Palme d'Or was awarded to It Was Just an Accident. In competition for the Uncertain Reward was Aisha Can't Fly Away, Caravan, The Chronology of Water, Eleanor the Great Arch, Heads or Tails, Homebound, I Only Rest in the Storm, The Last One for the Road, Love Me Tender, Meteors, My Father's Shadow, The Mysterious Gaze of the Flamingo, Once Upon a Time in Gaza, A Pale View of Hills, Pillion, The Plague, Promised Sky, Un Poeta, and Urchin, with Best Screenplay going to Harry Lighton for Pillion, Best Actress going to Cleo Diarra for I Only Rest in the Storm, Best Actor going to Frank Delane for Urchin, Best Director going to Tarzan and Arab Nassar for Once Upon a Time in Gaza. Jury prize went to A Poet, and Uncertain Regard prize went to The Mysterious Gaze of the Flamingo. In the screened out of competition were 13 Hours, 13 Days, Colors of the Time, Highest to Lowest, Leave One Day, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, A Private Life, The Richest Woman in the World, The Exit 8, Honey Don't, No One Will Know, The Residents, and Sons of the Neon Night, and honorary awards went to Robert De Niro and Denzel Washington, both receiving the honorary Palme d'Or. And that is the Cannes Film Festival news.
My anime news this week: A Gatherer's Adventure, an isekai TV anime, revealed a release date of October 2025. An observation log of my fiance, who calls herself a villainess, is getting a TV adaptation in the works for 2026. Because Prince Cecil is extraordinarily intelligent, life is boring for him. His days are without much excitement, but he becomes engaged to Bersha, is how I'm going to assume that's pronounced, the daughter of Marcus. The first thing she says to him when they first meet is quite baffling. She claims she is a villainous heroine, and in the story of his life. According to Bersha, she has memories of her previous life. In a certain romance game she played in her life before, she played the character of the villainess. Her purpose in her new life is to become an exemplary villainess and ruin the prince's engagement. In order to achieve this goal, Bersha does one outrageous thing after another and brings chaos and confusion into his life. A unique love story with a twist. Sakamoto Days Part 2 is releasing July 14th. Garo franchise's 20th anniversary movie Garo Taiga releases in Japan October 17th. Toilet Bound Tanako-kun Season 2 sequel premieres July 6th on TBS networks in Japan. Call of the Night Season 2 premieres July 4th. Shinji Ishii's novel Tori Suka e Re Otoko is set to receive an anime film adaptation this fall. Takopi's Original Sin premieres June 28th. The cute little alien Takopi lands on Earth. What is his mission? To be taken to our leader? No. To spread happiness throughout the universe. The first person Takopi meets is a depressed fourth grader Shizuka, or is it? Takopi is determined to do whatever it takes to make Shizuka smile again, but his misguided attempts to help her by using his advanced technology to turn back time only result in mayhem and death. What is the truth Takopi can't remember, and what must the pink alien octopus with a heart of gold sacrifice to truly help Shizuka and her friends? The film A New Dawn has been delayed to 2026, and finally Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus premieres July 5th. In comics news, Skybound Entertainment announced Universal Monsters The Invisible Man, a 4-issue limited series from writer James Tynion IV and artist Danny and colorist Brad Simpson, launching this August. And DC announced Superman the Kryptonite Spectrum, a 5-issue series from Ice Cream Man creative team W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Marazzo, and Chris O'Halloran. The book launches this August and explores the different variations of kryptonite. They better be careful there. I wonder what is going to happen when they get to pink kryptonite or periwinkle kryptonite or gold kryptonite. Dude, it is I mean, DC's parodied themselves already with the kryptonite, so it'd be interesting to see if this is a serious take or if this is another parody.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Of that. My comics, I only have one piece of DC news, or one piece, I say one project. Superman, for the 6th episode in a row, got a new look at Superman in Crypto, new posters, and a new St. Louis shout-out poster, which I did not know James Gunn was from Superman, or from St. Louis.
He is from St. Louis,
I did not know that until I'm like, why is he just give a random St. Louis poster? And I look, oh, it's like, look up St. Louis. And then we got a new trailer for Superman, new full trailer, which featured a new look at Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Guy Gardner, Hot Girl, and Mr. Terrific, new look at David Cornsweet as Superman, and a first look at the Hammer of Barovia, Ma Kent, and the Engineer. Marvel Thunderbolts, for the 9th episode in a row, earned $33 million in its second domestic weekend, a 55.5% drop, and it passed $300 million worldwide. Spider Noir got a first look at Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir, which was quickly followed up by the first teaser, just like, 30 seconds or a minute or something like that, black and white, released on Amazon Prime Video in 2026. I'm so excited for that. Ironheart, first teaser was released. New look at Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams and Ironheart. First look at Alden Ehrenreich and Anthony Ramos. We got our first poster, followed by a new poster this week, and the 3-episode premiere will release on June 24th on Disney+. Daredevil Born Again for the 12th episode in a row. Kristen Ritter will officially return as Jessica Jones in season 2. Yes. Wonder Man will be 8 episodes each. 8 episodes long, each 30 minutes. The Fantastic Four first step for the 6th episode in a row. New look at Pedro Pascal and Joseph Quinn. Avengers Doomsday was delayed to December 18th, 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars was also delayed to December 17th, 2027. Doomsday shares a release date with Dune Messiah.
Those poor
They're
theater
calling
workers.
it Doomsday. You got that and Christmas time. Also same month as Ice Age 6 and Shrek 5.
I agree with the delay because half the cast hadn't read a script yet, and they were all getting ready to film, and if filming was going to wrap up in 6 to 7 months like it usually does, that would have left the VFX team with five months to do it. So it's good that they delayed it.
That also means Spider-Man is the next MCU movie after Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it means that hopefully maybe Spider-Man's going to accidentally spoil some things about Doomsday unless they do really quick rewrites.
Forgot about that. Oh, I forgot about that.
So,
I
mean, Captain Marvel didn't have any spoilers to.
No, I think the only one was it one of the post-credit scenes.
Maybe
Was like in lieu of it. Yeah. A new Marvel Studios yearly output plan is a maximum of 3 movies a year, 1 to 2 live action shows, and 2 animated shows. Did you also see David Tennant said he auditioned for?
he wanted to play.
I don't know if that was like legit. If he's actually wanted to be Reed Richards.
I think he said I had my eye on Reed Richards, but they went in a different direction. So he might have actually like went in there and was like, "Hey, I'd like to play Reed Richards." And they were like, "You're already Purple Man," and he's like, "Dang it."
And celebrity deaths, I do have quite a bit. Last week, sadly, Morris, the alligator in Happy Gilmore, was 80 plus years old. Robert Benton was 92, director and screenwriter behind Kramer vs. Kramer and Places in the Heart. Lila Negra was 95, German actress and singer behind Toxie and Salto Mortal. Denise Alexander was 85, General Hospital and Days of Our Life star. Samuel French was 45, Killers of the Flower Moon actor. Annie and Bye Bye Birdie composer Charles Strauss was 96. Jane Bright was 71, Survivor Nicaragua fan favorite. Meta Valander was 100, Swedish actress known for The Man Who Quit Smoking and Deadline. Gerard Sotman was 88, The Assault and Black Book screenwriter. Jaak Karsunte was 90, German actor known for Love is Colder Than Death and Gods of the Plague. Federica Ranchi was 86, Italian actress known for Violent Summer and Son of Samson. Franco Merli was 68, Italian actor known for Arabian Nights and Salò, or The 120 Days of Sodom. Kiara, which they didn't have her age on here, was the Japanese musician and bassist of Noisy Cell who performed ending themes for anime such as Barakamon, Death Parade, and Mr. Tonegawa. John Bryson was 81, American politician and former director of the Walt Disney Company. This week, Latanya Potane was 40, My 600-Pound Life star. Aurora Clavel was 88, Mexican actress known for Tarahumara and Once Upon a Scoundrel. George Wendt was 76, beloved barfly Norm from Cheers and Frasier, and I'm glad I'd watched Cheers, just watched Cheers before this. Michael McStay was 92, Coronation Street and Doctor Who actor. Jim Irsay was 65, Indianapolis Colts owner. Kathleen Hughes was 96, It Came from Outer Space and Revenge actress. Nino Benvenuti was 87, Italian actor known for Sundance and the Kid and Mark Shoots First. Mariano Ozores was 98, Spanish director and screenwriter. Billy Williams was 96, UK cinematographer for On Golden Pond and Gandhi. And Ben Rathton was 55, 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days star. My sources for this week were Deadline, Movie Insider, Variety, Bloomberg, Fandango, Screen Rant, What's on Netflix, The Insider, Entertainment Weekly, Hollywood Reporter, and Wall Street Journal, and, of course, Discussing Film.
I want to thank my sources this week: Discussing Film, GameSpot, Steam, Famous Birthdays, IGN, and Crunchyroll, and of course the official sites and socials of the studios mentioned today. And this week we are finally wrapping up our May tier list with the final 8 fictional bands and musical acts, based on how likely it is Weird Al would parody their songs.
Yes. Kickoff this week: Mouse Rat from Parks and Rec.
This is on you.
Would he parody The Pit? Actually, the one he most likely is 5,000 Candles in the Wind. Does he usually parody memorial songs?
No, but he did parody American Pie.
American Pie.
So,
yeah.
You know, Anakin guy.
Yeah.
So
But they also have like the Pit and
how mainstream does the band become? How
that is true. They're not
how
very
much
mainstream.
does are they
They're mainstream in Indiana, Pawnee, Indiana.
Okay, so they're like a
this is
local
gonna be
band.
like I hate to say it, this is gonna be like D tier.
D tier, oof.
I'm gonna put it because they wouldn't be openers even. Are they California Raisins level?
Oof, man.
I think they're below. This
Because the
makes me
California
sad
Raisins
inside.
have national attention. They did.
This
They
makes
don't anymore.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Powerline.
No, Powerline.
Powerline.
Okay, S tier.
S tier.
Dude,
Eye to eye?
in universe, Powerline is
It's like Michael Jackson.
Is like taken off. No, I don't know my compared to Michael Jackson, but he's pretty
Yeah,
popular
up there.
There's a good chance Weird Al's parodying one of Powerline's
Especially Eye
songs,
to Eye.
especially in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know,
When he was at his arguably in his prime.
80s and 90s is peak Weird Al, and parodying the boy bands of different things. Yeah. Hey.
You wizard.
Several times from Gravity Falls. I would almost say they're on the same level as like in universe. I want to say they're about the same level as Chip, Skylark, or Big Time Rush, where they're super popular. But there could be a chance that he only references them or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they are a popular boy band in universe. They take off pretty. You find out they're grown in a lab. Because boy bands are all the same kind of.
Oh,
that's the joke.
okay, yeah.
Anyway, so I would say they're A or B tier, maybe.
A or B.
Now I don't know if they actually have a full-on song that isn't just a couple lines and that's a throwaway joke in the episode. But
Yeah. Should we go B then?
yeah, B.
B. Sex Bob-omb.
D. It's a garage band.
Yeah. We'll put it below Mouse Rat because Mouse Rat at least is somewhat famous in Pawnee. The Archies.
Okay, so this is where it gets a little weird because the Archies in universe is just Archie and his friends having a band locally in Riverdale. But also the Archies song Sugar Sugar took off because an actual
That was
Archies
them?
Yeah, an actual Archies band was formed to sing Sugar Sugar for the Archies cartoon, and Sugar Sugar took off and became a hit. It's kind of a Monkees scenario where it was a band formed to sing songs for this purpose of this fictional band, and then the songs themselves outgrew the source. So I don't know. I mean, real world, he might have referenced them. I don't know.
I'd say A tier.
But in universe, probably not, because it's
Probably
just
not.
some local
That's right, we're talking
teenagers. So do we want to
in
put them right in
universe.
C, just because of how
C,
how it
beginning
leaked into
or like with Boys for Now?
We'll just put them there. Yeah.
There. In between Lindon and Boys for Now.
Yeah.
The Cheetah Girls.
The Cheetah Girls.
We're finishing out the tier list. Did we say that?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't remember how big they got in the movies. Put them next to Big Time Rush.
Big Time Rush.
If I remember right, they're kind of like that kind of celebrity of like, maybe possibility.
Speaking of which, the Monkees. No, Hex Girls.
Hex
Sorry,
Girls.
spoiler alert.
Hex Girls. Okay, so Hex Girls actually they kind of take off. They start off as a small local band, but then by the time that What's New Scooby-Doo's continuity comes around, they're getting music videos filmed, and they're like, there's rumors of drama of them breaking up. So they're catching on enough to where there's tabloids about them.
Yeah.
So I almost want to say they might be a high B, low A.
High B, low A.
If they're catching on that much, I
Like
just
with
don't know
several-
that. I just don't know that Weird Al. It's almost kind of like how Weird Al never parodied the Spice Girls, but they are in a polka mix.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what Hex
Which
Girls
I think
does,
we
which
said-
has been our B tier. Our B tier has been there's a good chance he could parody them, and there's a good chance they're in a polka mix.
Yeah, he at least recognizes
He
them.
at least recognizes them somehow.
The Monkees.
The Monkees.
Speaking of which,
Uh,
did he parody the Monkees?
let me see.
Oh, dude, are we going to have like our first SS tier? Double S tier?
He toured with the Monkees apparently in 1987. What? Oh, in mid 1987. Yeah. Yankovic and his band toured as the opening act for the Monkees in 87 as their second reunion tour in North America. Yankovic claims to have enjoyed working with the Monkees, although he said the promoter cheated them out of a bunch of money.
Dare I say we add a row that has happened?
But I don't know if he's parodied them. He's worked with them. He's been an opening act for them.
I think that's the ultimate, though. I think it's for sure S tier. What?
I'm checking some things. Okay, so he didn't parody any of their
hasn't parodied
songs,
them?
but he worked with them.
Dare I say S tier? For sure. I think it's S tier for sure.
S tier. Okay, we'll put him at an S tier just because they cross paths in real life.
I would put him above Powerline. Do you think?
Yeah, just because they like.
We're
We're putting them in S tier for a different reason than we putting because he hasn't actually parodied their songs.
Yeah. But he's come closer than any other one has.
Yeah.
The Partridge Family. Oh no.
I don't know where to put these guys, honestly. I was just listing off like bands I knew that were like they were moderately popular in the 60s and 70s. Let's put them in C.
I was thinking C. I'm gonna put it below Archie's. And now, Soggy Bottom Boys.
Finally, Soggy Bottom Boys. I mean, their one song really took off in the movie. And when was the movie set again?
When was it set? Oh shoot, I want to say 60s or 70s.
Oh, brother, where art thou? Is set in the 30s.
Oh, no.
No, this is D tier. Unfortunately, it's D tier.
Due to the time period.
Because I don't know if he's even referenced songs that old, like in his...
Bottom of D, do you think?
Yeah, we'll put him next to the California Raisins.
And that is our May tier list, ranking fictional bands and musical acts on how likely Weird Al would parody them. To recap, in the S tier... we got the Monkees and Powerline. In A tier, we have Chip Skylark. In the B tier, we have the Hex Girls. Was that several times? Josie and the Pussycats, Big Time Rush, and the Cheetah Girls. In the C tier, we have Lindana, the Archies, the Partridge Family, Boys for Now, and Four Town. And in D tier, we have Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Jesse and the Rippers, the California Raisins, Soggy Bottom Boys, Mouserat, and Sex Bob-omb.
And on that note, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those interactive things. Follow me or follow the podcast on most social medias at Mondays for Nerds. Follow me, Tristan Stump, on most social medias at Sir Stumpslot or Sir Stumpslot17.
Follow me on most social medias at PothePanda001 or Chris M. Pratt Fan. We will not have a tier list next month since we will be very spotty.
Yeah, there's only going to be like 2
We're
episodes
very busy
next
in
month.
June.
So thank you for listening to us for a year. If you've been listening to us for a year,
year-long listeners, special shout out just for you.
And we will see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.